How'd you like to finish the college basketball season paying under $30 per week? Between now and Selection Sunday on March 12th, there's still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special that will include the rest of the college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. That's right, from Monday, February 27th through Monday, April 3rd, there are 5 full weeks of hoops action, which breaks down to under $30 per week. Sign up for this promotion now on your favorite handicappers homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship in Houston on Monday, April 3rd, plus all non-March Madness tourneys, including the NIT and CBI, all for only $149. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experiences in sports. Some call March Madness the most exciting time in sports betting, so act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time. Grab your favorite college basketball handicapper, or perhaps add 2 or 3 college hoops experts to make this March Madness not only exciting, but also profitable. No coupon is needed, just head to the homepage of the handicapper of choice and lock the $149 price in now. As the earlier you sign up, the more days you receive.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. He is Teddy Covers, and man, do we have a great show lined up for you guys today. Teddy, who's on? What are they talking about, brother?
We're going to start with Carmine Bianco, who's going to break down a couple of games in the NHL for tonight. We're going to talk Devils and Avalanche, as well as the Carolina Hurricanes against the Vegas Golden Knights. So a pair in the NHL from Carmine Bianco. Adam Trigger's coming on. And when we have Adam on, I'm going to ask him, because we all know Adam went around and saw 100 college, I don't know how many games he saw this year. He's seen a bunch of college basketball games live this year. I'm going to try to pick his brains as to these conference tournaments. We're going to talk Horizon League, Sun Belt, Patriot, America East, Ivy, MAC, and see what Adam's thoughts are in terms of sleepers, in terms of who the front runners are in these conference tournaments. I expect we'll get some real good information from Adam Trigger before this show is through. And of course, Arthur DiCesare is going to close out the show with a race and sportsbook supervisor over at the Westgate here in Las Vegas. We're going to get his take from the other side of the counter. My big game breakdown, your presidential address if we get 100 likes. Yeah, a loaded Wednesday show. Let's get right in.
Teddy Covers, yesterday we promoted the Odd Couple promotion. If you guys purchased it, and a lot of you did, much appreciated. You had a winning night. I went 2-3, but Teddy carried the way with a 2-0 night. Congratulations, by the way. 4-3 yesterday in the Odd Couple promo. It still is going on. $59 for both Teddy and I, all access. It's a buy one, get one free. Make sure to take advantage of that. What's up, Theodore?
I didn't go 2-0 last night. I came this close to going 3-0 last night. I ended up going 2-1. So let's be.
So it was a break-even night.
Yes.
I don't understand. Yesterday's plays has you at. Oh, it's totally my bad. So there we go, guys. A 5-5 night for the Odd Couple promo. Teddy, before we bring Carmine, and we got a big show, so we'll be quick. I got a 5-pack up for everybody tonight. I got a 4% in NHL. It's a total. I'm on a huge 35-12 run in these plays. What do you got going, Theodore?
I've got a 3-pack up this evening in basketball action. 2 in the association, 1 in the college ranks. We'll look for the 3-0 sweep on Wednesday night. You get them all bargain price, just $19 over at WagerTalk and or sportsmemo.com.
Perfect. So you notice there, everybody, all I talk about is the Odd Couple promotion, and Teddy is pushing just his package. I understand how it goes, Teddy. Oh, my God. Carmine Bianco joining us. I mean, Carm, at least with you, you're willing to promote, you and Andrew together. Teddy, never. Not a word from Teddy in regards to the Odd Couple promotion. Welcome to the show. It was a pleasure doing Puck Time with you today.
Yeah, it was fun, but isn't that the epitome of what the Odd Couple is? One person does something that the other person doesn't want to do. So Teddy's 100% on point.
Yeah. Listen, witty, well thought out, very quick, but still, if I don't promote the Odd Couple promo, nobody will. He doesn't give it out in his big game breakdown, which goes on Twitter. He doesn't put it up on Twitter. I put it up on Twitter. I give it out in the daily presidential address. He just sits there and sips tea. Anyway, Carm, let's get into it. New Jersey Devils versus the Colorado Avalanche, minus 130 for Colorado, a total of 6. I know what you like. No follow-ups for you. Teddy will go straight to the next game. Tell us how to bet this game, brother.
Yeah, I don't need follow-ups on this one. Listen, the Avs, Friday's the trade deadline. We're seeing so much action. It's all Eastern Division teams that seem to be making all the moves. I think Colorado will probably make a couple. But, as far as this game, I think both teams are playing well defensively. And while they're scoring, I think when you get a couple teams like these that meet up, and these are playoff teams that I tend to see lower scoring games. Colorado's not going to roll over New Jersey in this spot. And I like Colorado as a team, and I love the way they're playing right now. I've got futures on them. But these are almost two of the best 5-on-5 teams, and you've got to look at that when you don't expect a ton of penalties in a game with some disciplined teams. So you don't expect the power plays. You have to look at 5-on-5, and Colorado's the third best team in the league 5-on-5, behind only Boston and Carolina, two fantastic teams in their own right, and New Jersey right behind them at fifth. Best team of 5-on-5, and for the longest time they were in that number one spot. But the Bruins are just playing just lights out hockey right now. When these teams have only played once, and earlier this year on Puck Time, I had the worst take on this game, and thank God we don't have the video of that. I said there is no way these two teams who are playing so well offensively can get together on the ice and play a low-scoring game. There's no chance this game finishes 1-0, and the game finishes 1-0 in New Jersey with a third period goal, I think, Jack Hughes. And I'm feeling the exact same way. Not that I like the over, I like the under. I think the under is the play here, and the market kind of agrees that it's at 6, but it opened at 6, juiced to the over. It's now juiced a bit to the under. It's not going to move off of 6. There's no way it'll become 6.5, and there's no way it's going to become a 5.5. So you're at 6. Try and pay as minimal juice as possible and take the under in this game.
So the Boston Bruins have been the best team in the NHL this year. They lead the league with 99 points. Nobody is even close. The second best team in the NHL this year has been the Carolina Hurricanes with 86 points. They're in Vegas tonight. Take on the Golden Knights, and Carolina is road chalk in this game, sitting in the minus 135, minus 140 range. Total 5.5 juice to the over. What do we do with the Hurricanes and the suddenly slumping Golden Knights, who have lost 2 in a row?
Yeah, there's a problem in Vegas, so we don't know what it is. And Marco and Brian are more in tune with it, but I just don't think this Vegas team is playing well right now. I think there's an issue with even in that dressing room of maybe Jack Eichel, the same problem he had in Buffalo, that he's really not a team player. I know some videos just came out on him with a kid during practice, and Eichel giving the kid the cold shoulder, but that has nothing to do with the game itself. This Vegas team just isn't winning games, and it's not for the lack of getting shots on goal. They're just not getting any quality chances on goal, and none of those high danger chances. They go into Colorado and they basically lay a goose egg in that one. They lose 3-0. The game prior to that, against the Dallas Stars, was a game both teams had 43 shots on net. They ran into a hot goalie, but the fact that Vegas couldn't score was an issue. You talked about they dropped one in Chicago. You should never drop a game against the bottom teams, the bottom 2 or 3 teams in either conference. And then the game against, they should really be on a 4-game losing streak, because the Calgary Flames did what the Calgary Flames normally do, and that is cough up a lead in the third period and lose the game. They only Vegas outscored them in the third period 2-0, won the game in overtime. Calgary had one shot on goal in the third period, 20 minutes of play, one shot on goal. They completely choked that game away, more so than the Vegas Golden Knights winning that game. I like Carolina. They're a fantastic 5-on-5 team that I mentioned. They play the physicality game, and it's one that Vegas is struggling with right now. They struggled against Dallas. They struggled against it even against the Blackhawks, who were more physical in that game than them. I think Carolina goes in there. You have to lay a little bit of vig. I think it's 130, 140, but I think Carolina is the right side here.
Carmine Bianco, everyone. Awesome. Outstanding job. Guys, Carmine has a 5% play in the NHL tonight. If I was Teddy, this is how I would be promoting it. Guys, Carmine looks good, but I have a 3-pack in the NBA. It's only $19. However, I'm the Prez, so I want to push Carmine. 5% NHL play. The dude is killing it in the NHL. And Carm, way to go on this hockey season, man. Congratulations. Anything else you want to quickly promote?
No, and I appreciate it. And I've got a bunch of futures out that they pretty much hit, but they won't get graded until the rest of the year. So anyone who bought in April got some very good futures that have already hit. So I'm looking, we're just looking forward to finishing off the rest of the regular season and having a good playoffs. You can use the code PT100, get $100 off the rest of the NHL season, which includes the playoffs, which is a great deal. And I'll have a few more hockey plays, and there's a couple soccer plays this afternoon. So maybe grab the one-day all access for $39 and get every single play released today. And that's it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
We love you, brother. Be good. Teddy, man, when I play poker with you, you have the stone cold poker face of all time. Nobody has a clue what you're thinking. When you're on this show, you are the total opposite. I mean, everyone knows you're annoyed at me right now. Just let it out, bro. Let it out.
Let's talk about what we learned last night, because there was something, the numbers for Ohio, like we just have the legalized sports betting in Ohio beginning in January, okay? And the numbers for Ohio in January are mind-blowing. 1.11 billion in sports betting wagers in January. That's the first month with legal sports betting. It's the second biggest market by handle for the month. And along with the 1.11 billion in revenue, how about 208.9 billion in wagering, I should say, in handle, about 208 million in hold, a 20.9% win rate for the new bettors. That is a heck of a month for the books in the state of Ohio. When we look at the biggest betting months of all time, like the third biggest betting month of all time for any month. There was New York this year, New Jersey last year, and then Ohio this year. We look at January 23, the total numbers. New York, then Ohio, then Jersey, then Nevada, then Pennsylvania, Michigan, Maryland, Indiana, Tennessee, and Louisiana round out the top 10. The numbers for Ohio were like, wow. And of course, what happens? The very first numbers get reported, and the governor called for a doubling of the state tax rate from 10% to 20% for the sports books. So good luck with your lobbying efforts in that regard to all the sports books in Ohio. As soon as the book, something happens good for them, boom, here comes the government trying to get their share. Prez, that's what I learned last night.
Well, I'm not surprised, Teddy. I am not surprised. Anyway, we got a huge segment right now with Adam Trigger. You're going to handle it. I'm going to kick back, listen, and learn. Adam Trigger, welcome to WagerTalk Today.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going great. And Adam, I wanted to have you on today because we're getting right in the heart of conference tournament season. And in my mind, there's two factors with conference tournaments. Number one, it's way more profitable than the big dance. All right. It can be. The next 11 days are as good as you get in the college basketball schedule. So if you're paying attention, you can make a lot of money. And the lines aren't as tight here. There's going to be so many games in the big dance that come down to the half point here, the 3-pointer there, the made free throw at the end. Half the games will be nail biters. That's not necessarily the case in conference tournaments. So I do think these are certainly very profitable in theory. But of course, the practice of betting these conference tournament games, there's a lot of nuance to it. I wanted to have an in-depth discussion with you today about some of the nuance, because you're someone, I don't know how many people have seen more college basketball games live this year than you. Not many. You know, you've been all around the country. You've seen all kind of different conferences. So I want to go through some of these conferences and talk about A, who you think the best team is, and B, who you think might be a little sleeper, someone who's a little bit of a long shot. And with your knowledge of these conferences, please regale us with your brilliance, because this is all about talking about what you've seen and what you've learned this year. You got 6 conferences we're going to try to get through right here. Let's start with the Horizon League. Who's bet on? Who's the team to beat? Who might be a live sleeper? And can I keep making money with the Detroit Titans?
So, Teddy, I hate to start on that note, but no, I think the Detroit Titan train is done. Listen, I don't do this very often where I just bet a future on a team to win. You want to talk about nuance and betting these? I tend to like to find the sleeper that I think could make a run and then just ride them against the number until the wheels fall off, if you will, right? Because I hope that when they do lose, I still cover and I can get out that way. Meaning some of these teams will make a deep run and you could be sitting there with 25-1, but if that team doesn't win, you still win 0. Obviously, there's ways to hedge out and stuff like that. So that's how I like to look at these. But this is a scenario where I did take a team to win. I took Youngstown State plus 190 the other day. And that was yesterday, actually. We found it at plus 190 at WinBet. Before I got on the show, Teddy, there's still a lot of plus 165s, plus 170s out there. And I kind of disagree with that. I make Youngstown State more like even money here. The reason being is I just think they're so much superior to the other top teams in this league. Now, to your point, Detroit is an interesting team, a team you could take a flyer on, I suppose. But Davis is going to score his points. He is their offense. So, like, I still think he's going to get his, and they're not necessarily going to beat, like, a team. Like, so now they do go to Youngstown now. And the interesting wrinkle in this conference is Detroit and 6 teams that play a play-in game. They play into the quarterfinal round, which is campus site. So they have to go to Youngstown State, a venue I went to earlier this year, one of the better sort of crowds at any of the 23 different stops I made. And I think Youngstown State's not only just the superior team in this league, they're when they're focused, especially when they're at home, they're going to be nearly impossible to beat. And then next weekend or a couple days later, when you get to the semis, it's going to be reseeded. So Youngstown's always going to get the lowest seed. And you're talking about the next sort of tier in this conference, Teddy, the Milwaukees, the Cleveland State, at Northern Kentucky. I just don't think that on a neutral floor with the season on the line that they can compete with that Youngstown State team. So this is a rare sort of me taking a position pre-flop, and I am going to just bet the future. I took Youngstown State plus 190. It's still out there at plus 160 or plus 170. I think it's a really good bet. I do think the Penguins are going dancing this year.
Is there a sleeper in the Horizon League you might want to pay attention to?
Well, I mean, if Detroit gets by Youngstown State, then I guess you got your sleeper right there. But I would look the next tier down. I'm not high on Milwaukee. Cleveland State, Northern Kentucky, I don't know if you're getting the right price. So you would have to go into that next sort of wave of teams. And I would say Detroit at the 8, like I said, they're going to Youngstown. So I don't think they're going to win that game. But from just a taking a shot perspective against a price, if they do, then you got to start to take them seriously, in my opinion.
Adam Trigger joining us, everyone, and we'll continue this segment. Adam, I just want to jump in. Joe Conley asks, and we had another person ask the same question on Puck Time today. What percentage of a person's bankroll should they bet on these future bets? I mean, for me, my answer is 1%. Adam?
So, yeah, Prez, I normally agree with you. If it's like a long season future, big payoff, I would say 1%. For something like Youngstown State, you're talking like plus 160, plus 170. I would bet that more like just a normal standard wager. I would say for something like that, I posted it as a free play. I'd probably go 2%, 2 or 3, just because I know I'm getting a little bit of a plus money payoff at plus 160 or plus 170. That I would bet more like a normal sort of, bet that I would make on a daily basis. But if you start to get, if you're just going to take a shot, you start to get to next weekend where it's the bigger conference tournaments and you just want to take flyers on some teams at bigger prices, I would agree with you, Prez. I'd probably keep it lower, just because of it's kind of a crapshoot.
Teddy, you have any quick
Let's talk
thoughts
a
on
little
that?
Sun Belt action.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Lawrence. Let's try to get as much actionable out of Adam in the short time we have him, and we'll save the theory for another time. But Adam, yeah, we got a bunch of conferences we get through and not much time to do it. Sun Belt. Give me the team you think should be the favorite, and give me a team you think might be a sleeper.
So, Teddy, this is the conference where I would take a shot because I don't think any of these teams should be a favorite. Interesting thing with the Sun Belt this year, you get 4 new teams. Southern Miss, James Madison, Old Dominion, Marshall come in, and they actually kind of took this conference over. You look at the top 5, I think all 4 of those teams are in the top 5 in this conference. Southern Miss won the conference. I got a chance to see Southern Miss play last weekend at Texas State. They won the game, but I'm still not overly impressed with that team. So this is the conference, Teddy, where I would be willing to take shots with like a bomb here or there. Let's go to Texas State. 5% winner for me last night. They just got there against Georgia State, covered the 4.5. But they've got seniors on this team. They won this league the past 2 years. They vastly underachieved during the regular season, but there are some upperclassmen. They come in as the 11 seed, but they, like I said, they have upperclassmen. They win their opening round game. I think you can still get them as high as 100-1. I think that's insane. They're going to get a game. I believe they play Old Dominion next. Their Old Dominion's banged up. They've had injuries. So it's like, if this Texas State team can get one more win, they might be the sort of Cinderella in this conference tournament at a really big price. If you want to take a step back to a big price that's a little bit more reasonable, like South Alabama at plus 850, they're another team that has historically been good in this conference. We're expected to be a lot better than they are. They got a 7-footer in Kevin Samuel that I think could, kind of take over. He's played better down the stretch. They had won 5 straight going into the last weekend of the conference tournament, or the last weekend of the regular season. So they're playing good right now. And they get that weird noon tip-off tomorrow, Teddy. They're in the first game out there in Pensacola, Florida at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So that sleepy noon tip, if they can win that one, I think you have a very live ticket there at plus 850.
South Alabama could be live in the Sun Belt, and I love the teams that have the talent but underachieved in the regular season that get a new start. If they go win 4 games in 4 days, they'll be dancing. Patriot League quarterfinals start tomorrow. What are we going to do in the Patriot League? Give me the team you think deserves to be the favorite, and give me a live long shot or a sleeper we might look at in Patriot League conference tournament action.
So, Teddy, there's so many conference tournaments that I think part of doing your due diligence here is figuring out where not to take the shot. And I wouldn't take the shot in the Patriot League. I think Colgate's going to win. And if you can figure out a way to get action on Colgate, do it. Like if you can find an off-market price on them to win it, go for it. Patriot League, one of 3, I believe it's only 3 conferences now that play every game at a campus site at the higher seed. I think we're looking at Patriot League, America East, and the Northeast Conference. I believe they're the only 3 that still play the entire tournament out on campus sites at the higher seed. Colgate is the top seed in that conference. That's in Hamilton, New York, about 25 minutes from where I live, Teddy. It's a tough place to get to. It's a small gym. They have a big-time home court advantage there. They rarely lose, especially inside the league. They rarely lose at home. I just don't see someone coming into their building and beating them in this tournament. So if you really want a sleeper, I guess maybe Army. Jalen Rucker's a really good player, and Army was kind of the team that pushed them a little bit this year. They should have beat them at home, and they came and played up in Hamilton a few weeks ago and were respectable in a losing effort. I guess if you wanted a sleeper in this conference, it would be Army. Maybe to get, but again, they may run into Colgate if going off memory by the semis. So Army plays BU tomorrow. They may win that game, but It's tough to go against Colgate here, Teddy. I think they're going to the tournament once again. They've been dominant in this conference for the last half decade, and I think it continues.
Conference tournaments take center stage this week and next in the college hoops betting marketplace. We're picking Adam Trigger's brain right now. Adam, who's been to how many venues you go to this year?
So I've been to 23 different venues this year. Been to about 25 games because I've gone to a couple at the Dome in Syracuse, all over the place. So I've seen big schools, small schools. I've got a lot of takeaways there. I went to see your Michigan Wolverines.
Is take Adam Trigger's takeaways and turn them into actionable information for you guys out there in.
Well, I got one. I got one for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Keep going. I'll interweave them into the rest of the conference.
Well, you wanted to talk about Chrysler Arena real quick. You wanted to throw some shade on my Michigan Wolverines.
It wasn't shade. Listen, I went up to Michigan. I took with a bunch of the WagerTalk guys from the Detroit office, guys and girls from the Detroit office. We went to see #1 Purdue in Ann Arbor against Michigan at 9 p.m. on a Thursday night. Teddy, only thing I was going to say is, for best crowd, worst crowd, I got to give Michigan the worst crowd. I really do. From all the crowd, like they should have been at an 11 out of 10. You get #1 at home. The crowd just wasn't that good. And Johnny Detroit confirmed this. A couple other people said, you know what? Michigan's just not really a basketball school. They're football and hockey and then hoop. And I said, I never really thought of that. But I don't know. That's why I wanted to bring it up here. Do you agree with that? Because it was a wine and cheese crowd, Teddy. Wine and cheese crowd. That's all I'll put it.
Well, Michigan has one more home game. We're not going to worry about them too much. I'm not worried about the Wolverines' home court advantage. I am worried about the Ivy League right now.
All right.
Talk to me. Let's talk two more conferences. We only have you for a few more minutes. Of course, Adam Trigger at Top Flight SI on Twitter, sharing his thoughts on conference tournaments. Ivy League. Who do we like to get the bid? Who do we like as a potential sleeper?
Yeah, so I'll go quick on this one. I've seen a bunch of these teams play this year. My big takeaway from here, obviously, the field is not set. You're going to get 4 of these teams playing at, I believe, the Palestra for the auto bid. And my kind of takeaway is I'd be willing to fade Penn. I think people are going to say, okay, they were the odds-on favorite in the conference, but they turn the ball over way too much. They've started to quote unquote peak here of late, I suppose. Jordan Dingle's probably the best player in the conference, but there's without a doubt, Teddy, they're going to be overvalued because of their preseason standing and where the tournament's being played. And I think anyone else that gets in, Cornell, obviously Yale, Princeton, if Brown sneaks in there, we believe we've got maybe one round of game. I'm not sure if that field is set, but even if it is, doesn't matter. I'm willing to oppose Penn in the Ivy League tournament. That's kind of my take.
Penn, the team to fade in the Ivy. Let's do one more before we let you go, Adam. The Mid-American Conference, the MAC, which is always a fun tournament. And there's a lot of teams bunched up at the top here. Who do we like to win the MAC? Who might be a live, longer shot sleeper?
Yeah, I'm gonna squeeze 2 in for you, Teddy, real quick, because the MAC, this is another one where I really think I got to see a bunch of these MAC schools play. I think I went to 3 or 4 different MAC venues this year. I really believe that Kent State, Akron, and Toledo are far and away the class of this conference. I would not fade any of those teams. I would probably ride those teams until they knock each other out. I'll be shocked if the final for this conference tournament isn't a combination of those 3 teams. And I think if you wanted to take a flyer, just take whatever one is the best price, because I really do think they're all relatively even. I'm going to throw one more out there for you, Teddy, before we go, and that's the America East Conference, which after some mayhem last night has their field set. This is another one where they're on-campus venues, and I just wanted to point out that every host team in this conference, any team that could host a game, has a great home record this year. If you look up and down the America East standings, so obviously there's an 8-team tournament. Only 7 could potentially host games because they play at the higher seed. All 7 of those teams have really good home courts. UMass Lowell didn't lose a home game all year, 15-0. Vermont, the only game they lost at home I went to, it was against Toledo back in December. They didn't lose a single game at home all year. They'll be the 1 seed. But there's some really interesting games in like the 3, 4, 5, 6 range, where like Bryant, Binghamton, UMBC, they all ended with like roughly the same records. You might get one of these teams at like a pick or -1 or -2 on their home floor, and they probably have a pretty big advantage. There's been a strong home court in this league all year. Remember, this is another one where every single game is on court on a campus site, the whole tournament. Higher seed hosts. So remember that when you're looking at, betting the America East, because I do think there's some value on those home teams.
Adam, Trigger, what a segment, guys. Outstanding stuff. Ad, what do you got to promote for everybody?
Yeah, so 5% winner for me last night on Texas State. I have another 5% college basketball play tonight. 6 wins in a row, so I'm going to just kind of try to ride this streak right now, Prez. There's a spot I love tonight in one of the college hoop games, and I will be probably posting some other stuff for free throughout the day. I did personally bet Youngstown State to win the Horizon League. You can still get that pretty much everywhere at that price. It'll probably be up until tomorrow when the tournament resumes. And that I posted as a free pick on my WagerTalk page.
Dan, you're hilarious. Adam, Trigger! Teddy, man, we got Art DiCesare still to come, commercial break, big game breakdown, presidential address, so much more. Guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please take 2 minutes and do so. It would be greatly appreciated. And also, speaking on behalf of Teddy, we would really appreciate if you take advantage of the Odd Couple promotion. It's a buy one, get one free. You get 3 days all access to both Teddy and myself for only $59. Teddy, I am seriously filtering myself today. I told both Dan and Chris the story I wanted to tell on air. Dan was like, yeah, I think Chris might kill you. I'm still waiting for Chris to respond. So I've personally filtered myself. I feel like I've come a long way, brother. I feel good about my ability to finally filter a little bit.
When we come back, my big game breakdown on Arthur DiCesare from the Westgate Superbook.
How do you like to finish the college basketball season paying under $30 per week? Between now and Selection Sunday on March 12th, there's still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special that will include the rest of the college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. That's right, from Monday, February 27th through Monday, April 3rd, there are 5 full weeks of hoops action, which breaks down to under $30 per week. Sign up for this promotion now on your favorite handicappers homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship in Houston on Monday, April 3rd, plus all non-March Madness tourneys, including the NIT and CBI, all for only $149. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experiences in sports. Some call March Madness the most exciting time in sports betting, so act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time. Grab your favorite college basketball handicapper, or perhaps add 2 or 3 college hoops experts to make this March Madness not only exciting, but also profitable. No coupon is needed, just head to the homepage of the handicapper of choice and lock the $149 price in now. As the earlier you sign up, the more days you receive.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's go to the NBA for Wednesday night and talk about Orlando and Milwaukee. Look, this isn't the first time I've been on the show talking about Orlando. I hope it won't be the last time I've come on the show talking about Orlando. They've been my favorite team in the NBA for the last 3 months. They were bad 2 years ago. They were bad last year, bottom feeders. They started this season 5-20 straight up. Nobody expected anything. Since that 5-20 straight up start, 20-16 straight up in their last 36 ball games, 23-13 against the spread. Who have they been beating? Well, outright upset against Philly, outright upset against Minnesota, outright upset against Denver. They beat the Celtics 3 times. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Warriors, the Blazers, the Hawks, the Bulls, the Pelicans, the Raptors. These are all straight up wins as underdogs for Orlando. Okay? They're going on the road and beating teams. They're young. They're hungry. Oh, they're 10-1 against the spread their last 11 versus a team with a home winning percentage of 600 or greater. And yet every single time I hear anyone, cappers, commentators, anyone talking about the Magic, they're young, they're rebuilding, they're bottom feeders, they're a losing team. They're still number 13 in the East out of 15 teams. They're still 10 games under 500 for the season. These are the teams you make money with. They don't need a straight up win tonight. They don't even need to be close. They hang within the number. They can lose by 7 and cash our ticket. Milwaukee used to be great in the big favorite role. They're 8-10 this year, minus 7.5 or higher. Magic, by the way, 17-9 ATS at plus 7.5 or higher, including that awful start to the season. And of course, last night, Milwaukee's on the second of back-to-backs. They've been good on the second of back-to-backs. Last night's game in Brooklyn, closer than the final score would indicate. It was tight into the fourth. This spread's just too high. Give me Orlando plus the 7.5. There's your big game break. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, we can all tell that you're really interested in small talk with the Prez today. Oh, yeah. So I tell Chris the story I want.
Caesar.
No, I tell Chris the story I want to tell on air, and he's like, "Yeah, save it for the production team. I feel like Teddy will snap if you say it on air." God, I mean, that's like giving candy to a baby. I want Teddy to snap. Like
I'm kind of fascinated
dying
now.
for Teddy to let it out, man. All you do, you like bite your tongue and just change topics, dude. Art DiCesare, come on in, man. Teddy doesn't want to do small talk today. How are you, my friend? Or any day.
I'm good. I'm now curious too, Prez. I want you to tell this story.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Let that be the shtick. That I have a great story that I can't tell that would annoy Teddy. That's the shtick. We move on. Art, what's going on? What's going on in the XFL, dude? Are you taking bets in this sport? How much? How big? Is there a future in the betting world in the XFL?
Oh man. I know we've had these conversations before with, USFL, XFL, things of that nature. Yes, we are taking bets. There are some bets that trickle in when these games happen. It's nothing to write home about, though. It's mostly, sharper bettors who find, an off number or things of that nature where they fire on those, especially first halves or second halves when we throw up a second half. But yeah, it's not been anything where I'm like, oh, this is really moving the needle, especially this time of year.
So XFL is not NFL level handle, is what you're telling us.
No, not even preseason.
Did you see the Ohio numbers, Art? Did they surprise you, being that it's the second highest of any state in any month ever? Or, is this just what we're going to see? Is it going to be monster numbers everywhere?
No, Teddy, I did. I heard you bring that up. And, Superbook is in Ohio. So, that's one of our states. Outside of Nevada, we have 6 states that we currently run books in. And, obviously we have more coming down the pike. But yeah, Ohio is one of ours. We got in there right as the new year, happened, and sports betting was able to, be on the docket there January 1st. And we've seen it just, the numbers that come in and the daily numbers that come in from Ohio and the type of action that we take. That's definitely a really good state. We're happy to be there.
Do you have the same numbers wherever you make a bet? If I'm betting in Ohio, am I getting the same numbers I'm getting in Vegas, or do you shade depending on where you are based on who the home teams are and who are likely to get more support?
That's a great question, Teddy. I'd say 99% of our numbers are going to be the same. Obviously, we are able to run different numbers in different jurisdictions if we feel that we need to do that. And, that could be shaded towards Colorado, Arizona, Tennessee, no matter what. Obviously Ohio is one of those things as well where we can do that. So, yeah, we have had situations where we do things of that nature. But for the most part, the numbers that we post out in Nevada, which we consider our hub, are going to be basically streamlined throughout all the other states that we run in.
I mean, the one thing that I forgot to mention earlier that stood out about the Ohio numbers is that it wasn't the neighboring states coming over there and making bets. a lot of times the one state opens, and everyone else, like the big numbers from New Jersey early, because they were getting all the New York bettors, because New York wasn't legal. But for Ohio, Michigan's legal, Indiana, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, their neighbors were already legal, so it wasn't people crossing state lines in the same regard that you saw with some of the other states when they first opened for legalized wagering. Art, we spent a bunch of time with Adam Trigger earlier in the show talking about conference tournaments in college basketball over the next 10 days. I want to ask you, do you love these conference tournaments as much as we do? Or are they really tough? From a bookmaker standpoint, I got to think they're brutal. Do you guys win conference tournaments year in, year out, or is that one of the more difficult things to book?
I'll say this. I love them. I'm a fan. I mean, college basketball is, one of my 2 or 3 favorites. But yeah, it can be a little bit difficult. Obviously, we have a lot going on, not only with the college basketball, obviously the calendar turning to March. Everyone's focus is on college basketball. But, we still got the NHL and we still got the NBA and we even got, preseason baseball that we're booking. So obviously there is a lot going on. But, with us throwing out numbers for all these conference tournaments to win, it can be a little bit difficult to, keep your eye on the prize here. But listen, we got a really good team at Superbook. You know how it goes. So, yeah, we're able to win some of the tournaments, lose some of the tournaments. It's just the nature of the beast.
So it's not a huge profit center for you, tournaments, conference tournaments in general, something that bettors may have an edge if they put the time and effort in. Agree?
Yeah, I would agree. And, I heard Adam talking about, long shots. You see that a lot of the times. People taking some shots, maybe 3 or 4 teams down the board, or even the team that's got the longest odds, because we see it year in and year out where some of these one conference bids, maybe a team steals a bid and goes on a 3 or 4 game run and wins their conference tournament. So we do see those type of things. And, but when people are taking shots with the longest shot, that's usually a 10, 20, $50 bet. It's never something that is a 4-figure or 5-figure type of bet.
We got just a few minutes left here with Arthur DiCesare at ArtDice21 on Twitter. He's an excellent follow. And of course, you can find him at the Westgate Superbook here in Las Vegas pretty much every day, although he's off this morning. And we're glad to have him each and every Wednesday right here on WagerTalk Today. Art, let's do some actionable info. Let's give out some actionable info for our viewers. What are you seeing in terms of today's college basketball action / NBA action? Who do the pros like? Who do the Joes like? Who do you like when it comes to Wednesday night hoops?
Sure, absolutely. I'll give you 2 in both, and basically public and sharp splits. When you look at the NBA, Sixers at Heat. We opened that game as a pick 'em. It's now Sixers -2. That's really been public money. I mean, it's not been any of our, really respected sharp bettors who've come in on the Sixers today. It's been public money that's driven that number to -2. Cavs, Celtics, total 221, now 219. That is sharp money that we took on the under at 221. So you've seen a 2-point move there to the under. As far as the college basketball goes, Xavier at Providence. Open that total as high as 155, now 151. And that's been public and sharp money. Obviously, the sharps got in early. Public has followed. You see the number steam down 4 points. So big move there on the total, but we see that a lot in college basketball. And one of the marquee matchups of the night, Texas at TCU. We opened -1.5, now 2.5 to TCU. Sharp money was on TCU minus the 1.5. That's why you've seen the move there.
Art DiCesare joining us. Guys, you can follow Art at ArtDice21 on Twitter. He's an excellent follow. Art, any big bets or anything we need to know NHL-wise? Any advice, any suggestions?
Couple things tonight, Prez. I know Carmine talked about the Canes Knights game, and it's a big game in town. But we've seen the sharp money come in on the Hurricanes. -130. It's been a 10-cent move to -140. Probably trickles up a little bit. Obviously, the Knights are hanging on for dear life at the top of the Pacific, and then obviously the West is open. But, you've seen the Canes money come in. And then the Rangers. It's a big price, but Rangers open -190, 20-cent move right now. Rangers -210, and that's been public money. It makes sense. The Rangers at the Flyers. Flyers are a bottom feeder. Rangers after all the moves. Rangers are trying to get their feet back after a 3-game losing streak. They won one, so 20-cent move to the Rangers. Public money, though.
Outstanding. Art DiCesare. Art, what do you got to promote?
As always, this is the time, right? We're about to be into it. Conference tournaments, March Madness, all the stuff. So, and I know I mentioned baseball real quick. We're going to have the baseball season win total contest that we do every year. That's going to be out. You can come down and get involved in that. And, if anyone has any questions about things of that nature, whether it's the baseball contest or, seeding or what we're going to do for March Madness, we'll have the theater open, all those type of things. You come down to the West Gate, you can ask for Arthur DiCesare, and I'll be, happy to give you all the information you need for those type of things.
Awesome stuff, Art DiCesare, everyone. Teddy, I've been thinking a little bit. I didn't do much heavy lifting this show. Art, thanks for joining us, bro. I've been thinking, I sat around a lot. I've decided to give away a free month all access of the Prez. And here's the thing. I got no permission from anybody to do this. So I'm going to pay it out of pocket. It's free to the person, but WagerTalk will still get its money. I will buy the package, 1 month all access to the first person who names their dog Prez. Okay? That is in the books.
It's time for the daily presidential address.
Teddy, enough with your shit. Get him off the screen, Dan. I don't need him. He's been on the show all day. He's pissing me off. 1 free month all access to the first person who names their dog Prez. I will buy the package on their behalf so that WagerTalk doesn't have to put up with it. I don't want to see him, Dad. Get him away. Okay, guys, it's time for the daily presidential address. Okay, everybody, in case you missed it, I'm giving away a 1 month all access pass to the Prez for the first person to legitimately name their dog Prez. So make sure to do that. I personally would like it to be a larger dog, like a Rottie or a Burmese mountain dog, maybe a German Shepherd or a Bull Mastiff. I do have a feeling, though, that it will likely be a Chihuahua, because you guys like to make fun of me. And I respect that indeed. Anyway, I got a couple of free hockey picks tonight. I just want to make mention, I have a big hockey bet going tonight. It's a 4% NHL total play. These 4% NHL totals, they are my most consistent play over the last 2 years. I'm on a 35-12 run with them. I have an all-access package. You can get my hoops and my NHL all over at WagerTalk.com. As for your free bets tonight, I like the Colorado Avalanche minus 120. It was 130. There's money coming in on the New Jersey Devils. The Avalanche have won 6 in a row. This team is only 3 points away from being in front of everybody in the Western Conference. They were out of the playoffs less than a month ago. They're playing unbelievable hockey. I know the Devils are playing great. They've won 2 in a row, 4 of their last 5. I get it. But they're starting a road trip, first game out on the West Coast. I don't like the spot for them. Take Colorado. I also like the New York Rangers in regulation tonight. There's some chalk in that play, but that's okay. They're playing Philadelphia. They're a bet against team moving forward. And the Rangers, after picking up Patty Kane, have to feel really, really good about themselves. He's not going to play tonight, but this team has to be excited. We're going to get a great effort. Take the Rangers in regulation. Take the Avalanche on the money line. And name your dog Prez. Teddy, I don't even want to go to you. You've annoyed me today. Take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again, same time, same channel tomorrow, right here on Wager Talk TV. Please remember to subscribe and like. We really appreciate all of your comments on a daily basis. Between now and tomorrow's show, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and best of luck with all your wagers.
How do you like to finish the college basketball season paying under $30 per week? Between now and Selection Sunday on March 12th, there's still tons of regular season college basketball action to go, Plus, all of the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special that will include the rest of the college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. That's right, from Monday, February 27th through Monday, April 3rd, there are 5 full weeks of hoops action, which breaks down to under $30 per week. Sign up for this promotion now on your favorite handicappers homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship in Houston on Monday, April 3rd, plus all non-March Madness tourneys, including the NIT and CBI, all for only $149. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experiences in sports. Some call March Madness the most exciting time in sports betting, so act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time. Grab your favorite college basketball handicapper, or perhaps add 2 or 3 college hoops experts to make this March Madness not only exciting, but also profitable. No coupon is needed. Just head to the homepage of the handicapper of choice and lock the $149 price in now. As the earlier you sign up, the more days you receive.